Evening, folks. Brian here at Geomagnetic Earthwatch. Saturday, November 22, 2025. Do you notice my window's on the wrong side now? So my desk was on that wall. That's an exterior wall of my house. In the wintertime, the freezing cold air blasts through the base of the wall to underneath my desk and freezes my toes off. So I just switch things around. So who do you listen to and what do you believe when you hear about Earth disaster cycles, whether it's the 6,000-year cycle, 12,000-year, 42,000-year, or the 3,650-year cycle? What do you believe? What we do have, but the past, which holds clues to the future of the coming storm. So we have scientific hypothesis, speculative interpretations, the blur of myth and folklore, and geophysical evidence locked in ice cores, ocean sediments, Earth's layers, tree ring data, and the magnetic memories locked in volcanic rock and some pottery. Basically, that's all we have to go on. Although myths can be a blur, it is found not in the single regions on our planet, but globally in folklore and other ancient orations, orate, to speak, records etched in the stone on cave walls to ancient Chinese bamboo annals. Annals, not annals, annals. Is how they described what they saw without scientific understanding or the mental development or capacity to know what's going on. So they describe such events in their words of understanding, such as the sky burns, the stars fail, violent fast winds, and the sun turns dark. All of these descriptions of what happens during a geomagnetic excursion resulting in the weakening of the protective magnetic field, right down to the thinning out of the ozone layer, which allows increased levels of ultraviolet radiation coming in. Also, the stars fail, not literally, but how they imagined it, as in asteroid impacts. You also need to consider a comet fragmentation, which results in a multitude of smaller asteroids impacting Earth's surface. The stars fail, or like passing through a debris field. The sun turned dark due to a multitude of major volcanic eruptions in a short period of time, such as happened 3,654 years ago. All within 1 year. Started off with Thera, the Minoan eruption, what we could now call Santorini, Vesuvius, Mount St. Helens, and Anekchuk in Alaska, all within 1 year. Major volcanic eruptions that they know of so far. Atmospheric disruptions due to cosmic ray flux would also distort how we see the sun. There is also evidence, they call it the black mat, of global fires, as evidenced by a layer of soot, charcoal, and organic matter. One theory is due to the air burst event from an asteroid or comet. Another possibility, and this is the one that I've been focused on for quite a few years, is due to the increased ultraviolet sea level penetration reaching us, causing extreme drying conditions, leading to drought and fires. the sky burns. These are all events of destructions as recorded by the Mayas, for example. Life ended by fire, wind, and upheavals in the skies. To the Australian Aborigines, the Hopi in the Americas, Neanderthals in Europe, their cave wall drawings, and etc. Then we have the weakening of the Earth's magnetic field, which destabilizes the jet streams, as I show you often. Shifting the temperature gradients, violent weather pattern changes. Some areas will undergo sudden freezing, while other areas will be under heat domes, droughts, or torrential rains. Overall climate will be chaotic, erratic, unpredictable, and very violent. This is one of Edgar Cayce's readings. So what is common among all ancient documentations and oral accounts is the celestial upheavals. There is nothing of micronovas that can be found. Upheavals in the skies, showers of asteroids, and violent winds. I also want you to consider the path through either a large debris field or a planetary system on a 3,600-year cycle. I'll include the link of that video I've done a while ago. I've done a lot of videos. There's a lot of new people here. I also want you to consider what happened in July 1994 with the comet Shoemaker-Levy 9. When it was caught by Jupiter's gravity, and the gravity broke it apart into many pieces before impacting into the planet. Fragmentation pattern from large passing comets. Let's take a look. This is an animation of Shoemaker-Levy 9 fragmenting by the gravity of Jupiter. So one main hypothesis of the beginning of the Younger Dryas event, which, by the way, if you take the 3,650-year timeline and you times that by 3, that is exactly the beginning of the Younger Dryas event, 10,950 years ago. That's also when the Clear Lake volcanic complex exploded, just for your information. Now, for those who say, well, there's no evidence of any large impact site on the planet, well, who has scoured the entire surface of the planet, including the oceans? I've just shown one example. If you have a large body that'll come in, fragmentation, breaking it up into smaller asteroid impact events on the planet. I also want you to take in consideration if a large celestial visitor, object, or system, or its debris fields crosses through the Kuiper belt or the asteroid belt, such as this. So we have 2 rings of debris fields around the sun. The outer ring is the Kuiper belt, which consists mostly of frozen volatiles, but also smaller bodies and dwarf planets. Hundreds or thousands of large bodies as wide as 100 kilometers in diameter. And of course we have the asteroid belt. So what would happen if, for example, you have a large enough celestial body crossing through the ecliptic? Doesn't have to cross through the ecliptic. It has to cross, it can come up from below, right through either the Kuiper belt or the asteroid belt. things to consider. And so again, just to repeat, going back to the 3,600-year cycle event, which is believed to be the year or the cycle of the crossing of Nibiru. Nevertheless, as I stated so many times, I've done my research and I just kept on adding 3,600 or approximately 33,650 years. And you can find the geological evidence locked in Earth's historical library. I did it and I kept on going back. I went back as far as 29,000 years every single time. So whether you believe in the 6,000 year, 3,600 year, 12,000 or 42,000, so every 12,000 years geomagnetic excursion, every 42,000 years extinction level event, but you can't really say every 42,000 years, because if you go back and search for any indication 84,000 years ago and they keep on going back, it becomes kind of hard to find that information. 3,600 years is consistent. So there's going to be a combination of Earth changes, events, and conditions. The weakening of the protective magnetic field, including cosmic radiation and especially increased levels of ultraviolet radiation. The skies burned, and this is why they retreated to the caves systems for protection. The jet streams breaking down, resulting in unpredictable violent weather patterns. Grow zones will change, crops will be destroyed, multitudes of volcanic eruptions and earthquakes, global wide spread of fires, and asteroid impacts, ocean asteroid impacts, which would cause tsunamis. So if you know prophecy, you will be better prepared. And preparedness is not fear, it's awareness. We don't need to produce scary videos with loud music and things like that. That's not in the Bible. And lastly, so there's going to be a psychological unpreparedness. No psychological framework or understanding of these coming threats. And therefore men's hearts will fail them for fear for looking after that which is coming upon the earth. Luke chapter 21, verse 26. Been a while since I quoted that one, huh? So the onus is up to you, if you hear of something, to start doing your own research. Most of you are smart enough and capable enough of doing so. Many, many new people come here on a daily basis. So for the many of you who do not know, I'm just simply an independent researcher, well studied. I do have an autistic daughter, ASD, under my care. Sometimes things happen. I also have to oversee her education and other things, and trying my best to prepare my family for the coming events when they wake up and will listen to me. So I don't post things for fear porn, clickbait, like a few people suggest. If I post something, I normally follow it up with a descriptive video explaining that post on Facebook. But you know what? Sometimes shit happens. My systems crash, right? And I no longer have access to do my videos and so forth. I'm extremely well researched. All the regular people here know it, and they'll stand up for me. But there's certain things I don't believe in. I certainly don't follow people who take something out of context from the Bible or the book of Revelations. For example, there's one person out there who has a similar YouTube name as mine, who once said of the major geomagnetic storm of May 2024, said, Well, that was God sending one of his angels out to pour his bowls of wrath over the sun to give us a little bit of a warning. You can't change that, man. You know, to suit your own narrative, as an example. You need to do your own study, research. If you think or you believe that an event or events, plural, will soon be upon us, and I think a lot of us have that feeling that something's going to be happening. And that is because of all the orchestrated distractions that's happening right now. But the one thing that remains consistent, whether it was the Egyptians, the Sumerians, the Mayas, the Incans, ancient cultures in Siberia, China, Neanderthals, and the cave drawings, it all points to one thing: celestial upheavals. The fire burns, fire from the skies, stars falling like rain, and so on. Listen to your children's dreams as well. One of my daughter's dreams she used to have, she woke up one morning and he said, Dada, when people go outside, their skin instantly... So I'm doing this in segments, and I just ran out of data, so I'm just going to pick up from my last segment. I think I was talking about one of my daughter's dreams. So she said that when people go outside, their skin become instantly burnt, and then they have to go inside. Obviously, that dream's about the increased ultraviolet radiation that is going to be coming in as it did 42,000 years ago, which is why they sought refuge and living quarters in caves. Probably came out at nighttime to do their hunting, gathering, and so forth. And then when the sun came up, they knew what was going to happen. The sky burned, and they went back into their caves. So, like I said, you have a responsibility to do some homework yourself. If I can do it, you can do it. Choose who you want to believe and follow. And that's going to be it for this video.